Well, that hearing in Congress took place in the House Intelligence Committee, and we can speak to a member of that committee now. Illinois Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi is joining us. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us again here on BBC News today. We watched some of that hearing in Congress, and you took part in it, of course. What we've heard from administration officials today is that there were no names, no targets, no locations, no war plans in this chat. What do you make of this messaging?
It was clearly classified information, even under the Trump administration's executive order, which determines what information is classified and not classified. The factors that basically characterize classified information, according to the Trump White House's executive order, is any information with details about weapons systems, operational details, and military plans. And the text messages that Pete Hegseth had embedded in that Signal chat were full of all three of these things. So just as an example, it says at 12:15 p.m. Eastern on March 15th, F-18s are going to be launching in the first strike. And then it goes from there. It goes to the second strike, the second set of weapons that would be used, and so forth. And that is what the witnesses concurred in, that this is the type of information that's classified.
We know a number of Democrats are calling for the defense secretary, the national security advisor, to step down. But Donald Trump appears to be sticking behind them, and high-ranking officials in his administration as well. So what levers do the Democrats have here then?
I think we have to continue to lift our voices and shine a light on what's going on. I think that today, when I called for Pete Hegseth's resignation and a full investigation of what's occurring, we got a lot of incoming contact from our constituents and others who basically agreed. I think more and more people are paying attention. Why? It's not just a process issue. It's about putting people at risk, putting American lives at risk. You know, when Pete Hegseth discloses the information about the details of a strike that's about to happen on a platform that is vulnerable to our adversaries' surveillance, basically our adversaries and potentially the Houthis could prepare for that strike and basically harm our airmen en route to the targets. And I got a text from a mom whose sailor would have been court-martialed had he done what Pete Hegseth did. And so people are looking for accountability.
As someone who is obviously on the Intelligence Committee, what changes do you think should be made in terms of how an app like Signal is used on government devices?
Well, as you know, in this particular instance, Signal was used on people's personal devices. Most of the people on this Signal chat were actually using Signal on their personal devices. So it was a double whammy, Sumi. First of all, your personal devices don't have the safeguards or protections that government devices have. And secondly, Signal has vulnerabilities that everybody knows about now. For instance, the Russians intentionally go after chats on Signal. Now, with regard to Signal on government devices, that's a separate issue. Maybe it's something to look at. But right now, the vulnerabilities on Signal, in my mind, are too great to be used for the transmission of classified information. Rather, you should meet in person in the Situation Room. You should go over the information as a group. And then if someone is not present and needs to be part of the chat, part of the conversation, they need to be piped in by secure video or audio. That's the way it needs to be done.
Congresswoman, before we let you go, if we don't see in the coming days and weeks what you and your fellow Democrats are calling for, the type of accountability like seeing members of the administration resign, what will happen then?
Well, you know, Congress has various tools at its disposal. I could see the House Armed Services Committee at some point, if not now, then later on, maybe fence some of the funding for the Defense Department. They might even do more than that. There might be censure motions. There might be reprimands. There's all kinds of tools. But the main point here is that in my humble opinion, when you have a Secretary of Defense who doesn't acknowledge a mistake, doesn't take accountability for that mistake or gross negligence or recklessness in this case, it's going to happen again. And the next time it happens, someone's going to die. American lives will be lost.
Congressman, always good to have you on BBC News. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Simi.